Hey. Time for another Out of This World story from rSpace. Unusual behavior from wife. Preface. I work nights and she works a day shift. Her job is a male-dominated field and she seems to be with co-workers more frequently. There is female support staff like office jobs, parts rooms, etc. We're both in our 40s and have been together since 17 years old. She only started a career in the last couple years, so a workplace relationship wouldn't have presented itself in the past. Here recently, she's been hanging out with her female coworkers after work many nights. She gets off work around 5 and isn't home until about 7 or 8. A time or two, she didn't come home until the morning because she got drunk with them and slept it off there. I find that unusual because she's very responsible and doesn't usually get carried away in social situations. At that point, I'm not highly concerned. Last night, I wasn't scheduled to work, so I was in bed at a normal hour. I was awakened by her cell phone screen in bed at 3 a.m. I couldn't see if she was texting or browsing the net, and she wasn't being secretive with her screen like angling it away, etc. So that's probably innocuous. Then she got up and started getting ready for work. Now, her shift starts at 8, and she wouldn't need to leave earlier than 7 if she wanted to grab a bite before going in. I asked her, "I thought your shift didn't start until 8. She acknowledged that, but said she was going for a walk with her coworkers before work. She's a diesel mechanic, and they have uniforms at work, and she seemed more cleaned up than expected for a walk or work. Not dolled up, but yeah. She was out of the house by about 4 a.m. and would likely be to her friends by 4:30. It's still very dark, and it was rainy, drizzling, and about 45 degrees out. Nobody owns a raincoat in Arizona, so it would be poor conditions for a walk. Well, she drives a truck and I drive a car. So I texted her around 5 to ask if I could get the truck so I could take some things to the dump. She didn't answer. 15 minutes later, I called to ask. She said they were still out on their walk, but to just come to her work when she gets there and get it then. If not for the rain, I would have thought it a good opportunity to see her hair is damp from a second shower. My brain works a bit differently than most and I'm poor on social cues, etc. Am I overthinking this? Update. I confronted her by asking to see her phone. She tried to flip the script and demand my phone, so I gave it to her along with the password. I had nothing to hide. Hell, I don't even have time for meeting others. Anyways, I looked through her messages, and the one conversation I wanted to go through was conveniently missing. So I typed in the phone number, and her boyfriend or whoever's name popped up. I handed her the phone and said I want to see the texts with him. She acted incredulous, and I told her some of what I knew. That she texted him before leaving the home today, and when she got back, and that I knew she was with him when she was supposedly in Vegas. She tried to act like she did not know why our phone carrier would have several pages of texting records between her and him. Since she didn't want to do anything other than storm off upstairs and retreat to the bed, I went up and told her I was packing a bag and leaving. I packed up and left. Update. I've acknowledged I have anger issues, and that's what ultimately drove her away. I've actually been making pretty good progress. She hasn't ever admitted to the affair, but I can forgive because of my role in the whole thing. She's told me that there's no hope of us reconciling, and she suggested we cohabitate for the kids. Well, I was optimistic that maybe we may one day reconcile. I am concerned that the cohabitation was a compromise she was offering because she was still afraid. So I offered her a divorce if that is what she really wants. She made no mention of it since. I took that to mean maybe she doesn't want that. Who knows? Maybe even she was softening up a little. We even took the kids to dinner last night, and she was pleasant and conversational, even looking at me while talking. I really thought maybe the ice around her heart was melting. Then on the way home, she took a little barb at me, like to remind herself she doesn't love me. Well, this morning she was gone. I knew where she was. Unknown to her, I know where he lives. I took photos of her truck in his trailer carport before. I don't know why I even bothered, but maybe to get a gauge on her emotions. When I got there, it was just his truck in the drive. But then I saw her truck parked nearby. She didn't know I was there, but she texted me asking if we need garbage bags, etc. I told her we were low and then asked if she was at the grocery store, and if she was, to get me some more creamer. As if I believed her. I wasn't getting a response, but soon I saw him pull his truck out of the drive. Her truck backed in, and his truck leave. I couldn't get too good a view, but I'm sure they left together. So I went to the door to ring the bell. No answer. I texted her to ask if she got the email mentioned earlier. She said she didn't see it, etc. So I told her what it was and she said we'd talk when she got back. She texted she was at Costco. I said, "No, you're not." About 45 minutes, she texted a picture of the Costco building. So yeah, she just got there and laying down a cover story. I told her to text a picture of the truck if she wanted me to believe her. She said she honestly doesn't care. I texted back, "You're a good person, and I know you're trying to spare me from hurting even more, or maybe you're afraid of me, and I'm sorry for that. The lies hurt more than the truth at this point." She sent me a selfie of her in Costco. I haven't responded. I'm really conflicted because I've constantly walked out on her and the kids. I don't want to do that again. But at this point, I'm ready to move on. But staying means living with someone I love and her perpetuating a lie to either protect me or because she's afraid of how I'll react. None of this is healthy. Okay, one quick comment, then on to another update. NWTGM1 says, "Dude, even if you have anger issues, that is no excuse for someone to cheat on you. That's when your partner or spouse says, 'I think you need therapy and better ways to deal with your anger,' and you go do it, improve and go forward. That's not giving permission for someone you're in a committed relationship to go and cheat on you, period." She doesn't want reconciliation. She stated that, right? Focus on you and your kids, not her and her boyfriend. Just how can one have a boyfriend or girlfriend when they are married? If you have evidence and it is an at-fault divorce state you live in, go see an attorney and file now. Get your ducks in a row because this woman is manipulating you and not your friend. She is your enemy. She will rake you over the coals in divorce court, get custody and alimony, and be with her boyfriend. Where will you be? Go to an attorney first. Get your ducks in a row. Put your kids here first. She is not behaving like a parent now, is she? She's off with her boyfriend instead of with the kids, right? Also, go see a therapist for yourself here, for whatever anger issues you have, and to stop being her doormat here. The woman you married isn't her now. Update. My therapist convinced me not to make any sudden decisions while my emotions are running high, so I took his advice and waited. The wife and I are cohabitating for the kids. Yeah, I'm a sap who's paying for a roof over my soon-to-be ex-wife's while she's out screwing this guy. She has a separate group chat with the kids and tells them things like she's out with Maria getting drinks. Of course at 4 a.m., and she's got to be at work in a couple hours, and the bars aren't open. My youngest, who's high-functioning autistic, looks up things like when the bars are open or when the gym is open. So they are now catching her in lies to them. She can lie her butt off to me all she wants, but she's screwing it up with the kids now. Well, after a couple of good nights' sleep, I'm not losing sleep over her anymore. I did the lawyer consult. Well, the lawyer says with equal time, child support would only be $42 a month. My wife doesn't want to sell the family home, and she wouldn't be able to buy me out, and she couldn't afford it by herself. Lawyer says if I want to sell the house will be sold. So I'm on a bit of a power play here. I've got way more saved up than her, so that's a risk of equal division. However, some of those things, like 401k and company stock, haven't vested yet, and so the lawyer says that's a valid point for not being able to claim them because there's still an uncertainty. She said I could protect all of that by using the house as leverage. Basically, if I opt to continue paying half the house until the kids are grown in 5 years, I could negotiate for half the future equity, and using that as a concession, I could protect my savings. It would essentially be a real estate transaction at that point. As far as my personal life, I did crack under pressure from a lot of sleep and wanting to end the grieving and tried to reconcile with the wife, basically doing the pick-me dance. I think that was about 2 weeks ago. I came home from work because I couldn't function. I prayed, and I never do that her truck would still be there, and I prayed that God would put a little love in her heart for me. I tried to talk to her, but that didn't work. I was pretty pathetic. I felt like God didn't answer. Fast forward to last Sunday. I didn't have anywhere to go, but I told her that I would be out of the house until work, and she can see the kids without me around. She bought them pizza before dipping out again soon after. Well, I sat in my car, reading this forum and that forum and other things. I don't know why, but I downloaded Tinder and set up a profile. I wasn't looking for a hookup, and just casually scrolled profiles, swiping left on everything. Talked to a girl but felt nothing. After work, the next morning, I see a profile and swiped right. Again, not sure why. Instant match. She messaged me with, "Hello, handsome." I'll tell you, it couldn't have come at a much better time to hear someone share kindness towards me. So we talked and it went well. We had I guess it's a date on Tuesday night. Couple drinks. I was honest with her about my situation because, on the off chance this goes anywhere, I'm not going to start on a lie. She had been cheated on as well and was divorced a while but wanting to date again. I walked her to her car and we kissed. Mind you, my wife ended the marriage, so all we have at this point is a piece of paper. I'm not gonna lie, thinking about this woman and having hope again is what calms my mind and lets me sleep again. Maybe it's God's mercy that He ignored my request and sent someone instead to show me I can be valued by someone because I do have hope for my future again. It would be nice if it went somewhere, but if it is just a passing moment, I'm still thankful. I know this is all fast, but my marriage was in trouble for years. I had contemplated divorce for a long time, but didn't act on it, nor did I act to save the marriage either. Her affair was the final catalyst for ending it, and maybe it needed to happen because neither of us were happy and neither of us were going to end it. At this point, if I was the one being tested, I wonder if I would have failed. I have worried that I'm a risk as far as that goes, so I have always kept my distance around other women. Anyways, the happy memories of my wife are all too distant. This all feels like when someone who has been terminally ill dies. You grieve the loss as soon as it happens, but I think acceptance comes much faster because you've been aware of the inevitability of it. One quick comment from the community. Springfield, 2016. If the marriage is as good as over, have the lawyer drop the paperwork and file. Set up mediation for the property settlement and custody. Follow your lawyer's advice on all legal matters. There is no reason to drag this out. If you haven't already, tell your friends and family what's going on. My wife cheated, and we are getting divorced. As for your son, who already knows mom is lying to him, mom has a boyfriend and we are separating. She will get mad, but she is the cheater. Cheaters live in the shadows. Truth is the light.